ICC Blue Hawks. ICC Blue Hawks is led by their team captain, number 8, setter, Ira Tutanes. Outside hitter, number 2, Andrea Camaral. Middle blocker, number 3, J.L. Moraga. Outside hitter, number 4, Fima Casera. Opposite hitter, number 7, Jella Lopez. Middle blocker, number 9, Sam Catamora. And their libero, number 11, Irish Besmonte. And their coach, Jesse Boroga. And now let's meet the opposing team, the BIñAN Tadakjel Arellano Lady Chiefs. The Lady Chiefs is led by their middle blocker, number 2, Sam Tira. Outside hitter, number 7, Laika Tudlasan. Another outside hitter, number 11, Kay Amitria. Middle blocker, number 13, Faye Mangubat. Setter, number 15, Catherine Dumasi. Opposite hitter, number 18, Chris Servidad. And their libero, number 12, Harem Camalios. Their head coach, Robert Javier.
You're looking at the starters for both of the teams. It's pretty usual for Negros, Tutanes, Moraga, Catamora, Caparal, Casera, Lopez, and Besmonte. Meanwhile, para sa BIñAN, it's Domasig, Tira, Tudlasan, Servidad, Ceballos with the additions of Mangubat and Abitria in the absence of Padillon and Villaflores. Some key players are missing para sa kupunan ng BIñAN, in which Negros can possibly take advantage of. But again, the looming presence of Sam Tira, I feel like, is gonna be the major issue. Pero mamaya na si Sam. Domasig introduces herself quite quickly in this game.
Of course, Domasig already showcasing what you got. Itong utak ng BIñAN. A playmaker.
Just giving everybody such a hard time at service line. Tira again. And right on cue, just a few seconds later, Sam is on the board.
And just like that, immediately, BIñAN was able to activate the middle. Of course, courtesy of Sam Tira.
Better reception there, and that time, Jella Lopez, the high flyer of Negros, adds to the tally.
Of course, we've been expecting a lot. Well, we've been hearing more from the likes of Tutanes and as well as Caparal. But we forgot, etong Negros, they still have Jella Lopez. One of the advantages because that she's a lefty.
And that advantage wasn't really given as of the moment dahil merong magkakaroon ng call towards that. But for Caparal specifically, I think they're contesting na merong block touch, and that's what they're trying to figure out as we speak.
Because one of the line judge kasi ang call niya is merong block touch.
And that will definitely be the case. Negros thanks the lineman. And it's gonna be all tied up now. Another one. Servidad is now on the board.
As early as now, Servidad is on fire. I think may remains pa yung laro and yung performance na pinakita niya from their last game.
This is great form mula kay Servidad. Caparal, on the other hand, would not allow for the panel not to talk about her. There's always gonna be a part where you have to talk about Adi.
Of course, she's always top scorer para dito sa kupunan ng Negros. And of course, we'll expect that from her. A very good leap coming from Caparal.
Good start and approach. A quick won't work. Jela na naman. That ball goes out. And Lopez gets her third point.
At marami-rami na yung nakikita nating contributions ng each of players para dito sa Negros. I think they were able to come up with strategies, especially with the lessons they've learned from their previous matchup against BIñAN.
But a strategy was made possible nitong si Abitria scoring her first points sa laban natin ngayon. One of the later additions ni Coach Obet Javier.
Of course, both teams are adjusting, especially we have missing key players, and this can either break or make itong BIñAN, but we've seen that there are still players that can fill in the spot, and just like that, Servidad was able to convert the point and respond immediately dun sa magandang set na binigay sa kanya ni Dumasig.
Now, I would say that Chris Servidad is a lock for this starting position for a while now because of the performances na kanyang ipinapakita. Katamora, Jela, and then all of a sudden, Caparal was there.
Of course, Caparal, even with that running attack, you can see the variety of attacks that Caparal has. And of course, yung good connection na meron itong Negros. Unfortunately, as early as now, a lot of errors have been committed para dito sa kapunan ng Negros.
BIñAN has scored in at least 5 points. That point was given to them nitong Negros. Katamora had the touch. Bitria again. Si Dumasig ang isi-set up. And that ball goes out. We are all tied up at 6 points.
Also, I would like to give credit dito sa kay Katamora. Sobrang sipag niya into guarding that net. Ilang bola coming from the attacks of BIñAN ang hindi nakalusot because of her presence dito sa net.
Tutanes wanted to get it across. Quick. Lopez was there. Casera needs a better set, but Caparal from the back. Abitria doesn't go down the line. A point goes to Negros.
Lucky point para dito sa Negros. We saw kung gaano kabilis yung speed ng bola na yon coming from Abitria, but fortunately for Negros, nag-out.
Lamang na ulit ang Blue Hawks. Todlasan was forced to give. 1-2 play. Kisha. Ball no longer in play as Abitria scores again.
And immediately, Abitria was able to redeem herself from that previous error. And you can also see yung frustration on the side of Caparal, even apologizing dito kay coach.
Casera hasn't held the ball yet. She's going to get 2 in a row. They wanted to make it harder for BIñAN to receive it, but Caparal commits an error that puts the Lady Chiefs in front. 8-7 in favor of BIñAN.
For Team ICC Negros who fell to Dasmariñas in their last outing, you'd expect sad faces. Pero hindi. Facing an undefeated powerhouse, they were proud to take even one set off Dasmariñas, fully acknowledging how strong that team is. They know they started the season rough, but now they are excited because they are finally showing what they have been training for. What was once a sticky problem they couldn't solve is now something they are attacking head-on with focused training built around what they lacked before. They may not have won that match, but pushing Dasmariñas to a solid fight lit a fire in them, like a spark that didn't grow into a flame, but still lit the moment. Hans and Lois.
You know, Lois, I'm happy that Quinn mentioned and talked about that. Kasi yun yung napaka-importante. I think that's what gave Negros so much confidence in this one, as that was a point courtesy of BIñAN Arellano. But going back to my point, it's such a relieving feeling. Parang iba sa pakiramdam kapag nakakuha ka ng isa kontra sa isang undefeated team.
Exactly. And yung being Dasmariñas, being a very reputable team, or sobrang fulfilling on para dito sa side ng Negros. Of course, it's really important to celebrate even yung small wins nila kasi this showcase yung improvement. But then, an attack coming from BIñAN is called for an out.
And for Negros, this is another team that they have to also take down if they want to make it to the Final Four. Kasi pagdating doon, hindi mo rin naman may iwasan tong mga to eh. Just like how Domasig has been playing, there's been a lot of top teams dito na nagpahirap sa Negros, and now they start to acknowledge that and actually play like they know what it takes to win.
Exactly. And yun nga yung minimension ko kanina, I think they were able to figure out the strategies and also the adjustment that they can do, especially that they have already had a match up against BIñAN. But of course, in attempt to tie things up, we have another point from Jella Lopez, the lefty.
So difficult to guard a left-handed spiker. Tutanes wants to go quick. Moraga can convert. There was Bismonte, or Pique rather. Pero si Lopez, return to sender, says tira-tira.
Or tira-tira with height advantage as well as good presence of mind dito sa net. She was able to counter itong atake ni Jella Lopez.
That was the presence of Sam, but I think the block of Laika. Ironically, the leading scorer comes first through a block. That is Caparal. Given again another error, immediately apologizing to Coach Jesse Baroga. Negros not really falling behind. It's just that their errors are the ones giving some leverage para sa BIñAN.
I definitely agree to that. And kanina nga after a point, immediately they've been committing errors. Good effort there by Casera.
Now for Domasig, he sets up the middle blocker. And tira-tira delivers. Coach Don Baroga not happy with what he sees. And we're going to have to listen in on Negros here.
Bato kaya Dio, binirik pa kay JL. Alanganin na yung pasok. Pag alang tama, alanganin na yung pasok. Ito naman, pag nakita nyo naman, napapasok na yung bola, kunin nyo na. Huwag kayo magpauna. Nakukulangan ka dito. Nakukulangan ka rito. Okay, magbigay ka ng combination ulit. Combination pumapatay. Go, pasa. Balik tayo.
You know, for Coach Jesse Baroga, there's just a few reminders na gusto niyang ipaalala. Execution and some other things, if you would care to elaborate.
And I think what Coach Baroga wants to happen, binigay niya na mga specific plays eh. Of course, hindi na lang basta bato ng set itong gusto niyang mangyari with how Tutanes is performing, but also to give out and of course yung attempt itong kanyang mga players.
Ball still kept in play. Abitria on the other hand answers with a point.
Abitria being really active right now in terms of attacks.
Just finding the back over the defenders. We kind of know that, you know, this team right here, itong Negros, as an entirety of a team, they're not a defensive blocking team. Pero nasa kanila itong si Moraga and si Casera. So, I would say that it's the same, but it doesn't really happen very often. Kaya kailangan nilang mas pag-igtingin pa yung depensa dito.
Exactly. And from that last frame, Caparal was able to execute itong cross-court hit.
They go to Keisha again. That time it was checked. Jella wants to go for the kill and she gets it.
Again, Jella, also one of the players that's been really active right now para dito sa koponan ng Negros.
Jella's been working non-stop. 5 points already out of the 12 Negros points. They go at it again. Oh, that was a block that worked in favor of Abitria.
I think it's an easy ball. Nahinan over nito ni Abitria. But still, medyo nakulangan lang ng attempt to save that ball.
Tutanes goes to Lopez. But that goes wide. A little too trigger happy was Jella in that attempt. And BIÑAN is going to lead by 4 at the end of the second technical timeout, 16-12. Catch all the games live and free exclusively on pusopi.com. Your game, your community. Join now. Also powered by Smart, the official telco partner of the MPVA. Special thanks to our media partners, Smart Sports and Puso Pilipinas. You are still watching MPVA Season 2. Hans Galeria, Lois Santa Maria, and Quinn Barcarce are broadcast crew for today. And that is one of the leading scorers of the league, Adi Caparal.
Caparal did manage to get their momentum back. Of course, with that powerful attack, breaking off the blocker's hands.
Going right back ang kupunan ng BIÑAN as mangubat. If it's not Sam Tira-Tira, it's Faye Mangubat para sa Lady Chiefs.
Para dito, I think nahahanap na ng BIÑAN ng butas on the side of Negros. It's time to make adjustment para sa kanilang floor defense.
So Coach Jesse Baroga is going to be putting in Krishna Pique, who is also playing in the libero position. Probably just to put some more efforts as Bismonte makes a crucial error and Servidad gets an ace.
I think he's just trying to read the ball pero dumaplis sa kanya itong service ni Servidad.
Caparal had to slow things down. Adi again. Caparal for the third time. She will not be denied.
There's just too much power on that attack para dito kay Caparal.
And what a move from Coach Jesse Baroga, just putting Pique for better floor defense. A secondary libero to Irish Bismonte. And now Casera is back. Jella was ready for the dump. So is BIÑAN. Abitria once again.
Abitria being really active for this match.
That was a power spike presented by Smart Power All 99. Load now. Nobody home for that Abitria strike. And they are up by 5. What a dig from Ceballos. Same could be said para dito kay Barredo.
Very good block there coming from Katamora. And after that point, she was replaced by Malyari as the service specialist.
Quick. Casera na naman. Maybe a third time would work. Same pattern as Adi, same result for FIMA.
And it's good that Tutanes is giving out opportunity and chance para dito kay Casera because she knows yung eagerness to kill that ball is getting stronger each time.
Because there needs to be more options. Sa ngayon, tanging si Caparal, Lopez both having 10 points. There needs to be more players involved, and that right there is Moraga joining the party.
And just a drop ball and right spot ang kinakailangan nito ni Moraga in order to convert her attack into a point.
17 serving 19. Good read mula kay Moraga. Casera na naman. Twice in a row. What an attempt. Claiming a lot more. BIÑAN, Coach Ope Javier needs to talk things over. Let's listen in.
Na maayos, so sayang yung lamang kanina, tatlo ngayon, iisa na lang. Ipasa nyo muna na maigi. Tumalong ka. Walang maliit yung blocker niya rito. Huwag mo lang ilalabas lang gusto yung bola rito, ha?
Coach Obet had some few pointers. It's a chess match between these two coaches. And that was a reminder for Faye putting a bit more stride to her step.
No, so kudos dito sa efforts ng Negros. Kanina medyo lumaki ang lamang. But then, Tudlasan who wanted to stop itong paghabol ng Negros. Of course, with that attack, immediately kakabalik na lang sa front line, but then she was able to contribute another point immediately.
It was Tudlasan coming through. Now it's El Capitan Kagikla serving it up. Diggs. And that goes in para kay Domasig.
Very good observation with high volleyball IQ para dito kay Domasig.
Just a really smart player. Kumbaga yung mga bagay na hindi gagawin ng isang pangkaraniwang setter ay gagawin niya. But Kagigla commits an error there. Domasig, they get completely rejected. FIMA na naman!
And Casera's attack has been really on point. Wow, a very good angle there.
We got a photo finish in the first set. Like I had to figure something out. FIMA Casera. Won't go. Gath pushes. Ira tosses. To who else? But FIMA Casera.
And Casera's really showcasing us the skills that she have, the power and the speed. Of course, how quick she is into making decisions kung saan dadalhin yung bola.
And this is all while Adi Caparal is at the back trying to defend. But that was a response mula kay Laika Tudlasan from one ace to another.
I would say a very cannon-like attack para dito kay Laika Tudlasan.
And that Domasig service was a complete opposite of what happened in their first point. Negros will now be at the service line, and Adi is at front.
We're just hoping that
Goes in. Loy, sorry, what were you hoping for?
Well, I was just talking about how that error could have somehow let BIÑAN rethink things through. But then, Casera was again present para sa lahat ng opensa, be it on the net, as well as the service line.
Tudlasan will redeem the error right back.
This is really a close fight between these two teams.
Oh, what a matchup. Tudlasan kontra kay Caparal. Absolute cinema here at the Dasmariñas Arena. Adi naman! Nothing just yet. Ira's gonna go to her again. They are not gonna give it. Instead, it was Ira who's the target. And Servidad delivers the goods.
And it's as if Domasig already knows that Servidad is the right player. Give that ball to.
I wonder what they're gonna talk about here, Lois. Let's listen in on Coach Jesse Baroga.
Wala, huwag mo nang pilitin, bigyan mo kay Adi. Pero kung kaya mo, Jella, isonahin mo lang, pero siguro di mo papasok, ha? Si Jella. Ha? Bigyan mo ng big hit to. Hoy, dalawa kayo dyan, ha? Dalawa kayo dyan.
So, Jella Lopez, we heard it all. The spotlight is yours.
Very specific instruction from Coach Baroga. Even na single out itong si Jella Lopez. Naninigurado na. He was even saying na siguraduhin mong papasok itong attack because this is really a crucial point for both teams.
But Malyari and Barredo needs to get this. And they did not. Too much. Tudlasan clears it all up to kick things off in set number 1. We did not expect it to be this close. But Laika says a win is a win. And it's 25-23. BIÑAN takes the first set. That last service ace of set number 1 to clinch a set victory against the Negros Immaculada Mega Wide. Set number 1, BIÑAN was pulling away. Negros kept it close until it was no longer making sense even if it was close kasi tinapos na ni Domasig ang laban.
No doubt, we've seen improved players coming from Negros. And if we can really compare their performance from their last matchup against BIÑAN, it was really a neck-and-neck efforts there. We're seen on the side of Negros, but of course with consistency of BIÑAN, as we can see here. In terms of attacks, halos similar lang. Lumamang lang in terms of aces itong BIÑAN. But still, it was a good fight against Negros and BIñAN.
In case you guys missed it, that was Airo Tutanes getting a service ace para sa kanyang koponan. Now they're first to be at the driver's seat, and at that joust in the middle, the athleticism of Catherine Domasig is the one that prevailed.
it's good if you've seen yung position niya being up against yung established na meron itong si Moraga. She still managed to win that joust.
Now, this is where things tend to go a little bit south para sa kupunan ng Biñan, or Negros rather. Yung kanilang mga maagang errors that places them in a really tough hole na kailangan pa nilang umakyat para makahabol.
For set 2. There's a ball touch called by the line judge.
Nobody home, but there was a certain effect dun sa pag-atake ni Jella Lopez, who had 5 points in that very first set. Servidad naman. What an attack. That's a headshot on Bismonte. Means of sportsmanship. Bismonte was in the right place. That was just too powerful from Chris.
Exactly. And we've seen, especially for this set, exchanges of attacks ang napapakita ng dalawang teams.
This is a free ball para sa Biñan. Quite a delayed means of attack from Abitria. Oh, that's another kind of the wrong read from Ira there. Another point goes to Biñan.
What a way for Biñan to counter the attacks of Negros. We have high leapers on the side. Have taller attackers para dito sa Biñan.
And then there's Caparal. Another high flyer, this time from Negros converts.
Really lost for words with how Caparal is really performing right now. Very well established attacker.
Lopez with 6. Caparal with 6 as well. Free ball for Biñan. What a dive. Giving it to the back. 2 players diving for that. And Tudlasan with patient volleyball.
And it's a miscommunication para dito sa kupunan ng Negros.
She obviously doesn't want to go beyond. But what a drop from Sam Catamora, one of the more underrated players nitong Negros team.
I definitely agree to that. She contributed a lot and as well as somehow boosted the morale of the team. She was present dito when guarding the net.
Bitria would still throw. Caparal has her attempt. Maybe a second one. Not enough. Ball still in play. How about a third? Still in action for a free ball. She chooses Catamora, but doesn't have the angle to do so.
Medyo hindi na-estimate itong bola and set ni Tudlasan. I'm sorry, setter of
Tutanes.
Negros, Tutanes.
You know what? She redeemed herself anyway. Caparal says, ganito pala dapat yung ginawa ko noong unang dalawa.
Exactly. And of course, he wanted to stop the bleeding. Itong si Tutanes just have to rely on Caparal.
Already has 7 points. This time kay Casera naman. What an approach mula kay Abitria, beating down the volleyball.
somehow she was able to redeem herself. And kanina, I think it was seen that she's struggling dun sa height ng bola and set, and as well as on her approach.
Abitria also has 7 in the game. Tudlasan goes soft. Regalo ata. Multiple players clashing in the net. And that was going to be a net touch para sa Negros, putting BIÑAN at the driver's seat, 8-5 in the second set.
In one of BIÑAN's huddle, head coach Roberto Javier reminds his team, sipagan mo, making sure every ball that goes on their side isn't left unattended. He also mentioned the lost points they could have gotten. But speaking of sipag, did you know that Laika Tudlasan celebrated her birthday yesterday in the same arena? And now she's back here working. For the Arellano Lady Chiefs, it's the first time they are waving the flag of BIÑAN. So it's always a challenge and honor to prove themselves. Something that Laika Tudlasan has been doing today. She might be the birthday celebrant yesterday, but it is her who's giving a lot of gifts in form of points for Team BIñan. Back to you, Hans and Lois.
Maraming salamat, Queen Barcarce, at belated happy birthday din para dito kay Laika Tudlasan, who just celebrated a win and a life win in getting another year off her marks. Right on cue was the belated birthday girl. Di ko na kasi siya pwedeng i-greet today, but hey, it's still a point and they are still looking in form, just like what happened yesterday.
As you can see from that last frame, a very spectacular performance. Very good lead from Tudlasan.
It was a push mula ay libre. Dumasig to tira-tira. Now it's Caparal. And that will be 4 touches. Caparal can't get it across. A timeout is called right away, and Coach Jesse Baroga is talking to the girls.
Pagka ganun miss ball, hindi bigay mo back, di ba, back to basic tayo. Wala ba tayong ganun? Kanina, isa ka pa rin eh. Ay, ikaw magdala dyan. Ano nangyari din sa mga to?
You can feel the frustration of Coach Jesse Baroga on that one. There's not much needed to be said. But obviously, there's more that he expects from his captain, Ira Totanes, as most of the errors came from her in the last 2 points.
Of course, it will all boil down to going back to the basics. Kasi yun na nga yung foundation of how the teams will perform and conduct plays. So, it's really frustrating to see na hindi maayos yung area, especially the basics of volleyball.
Tira-tira didn't need to do anything explosive there. Just enough to put them up by 5. Ira now gives it to Libre. And she is a scorer here in set number 2.
We're just hoping that Negros could somehow recover and translate what Coach Baroga wanted.
One of the homegrown talents nitong Negros program. Libre has the green light. There is another one. Si Dumasig naman ang nagpakitang gilas.
As you can see here, a 1-2 play with an attack. And at this time, dito talaga natin masasabi how it is an advantage kapag lefty yung setter. They have more angle and they can also be an attacking setter as well.
So Cara Tamon's gonna be stepping in para sa Negros in replacement of Ira Totanes. Why not give it to the hot hand? Libres open.
Very good wrist action there.
Graciela Libres keeping them afloat. 3 points straight from the homegrown talent.
This performance from Libre, just hoping that it could boost the morale of her squad. Very consistent player.
From 6-12, now it's just 8-12. And again, please remind me to put my breaks whenever necessary. It's 13-8 now. Caparal went soft on it. Servidad goes a little strong. And that goes out. Caparal will try to score.
And it's a cut shot attack coming from Caparal. There's a lot of adjustment there, but also a lot of power.
Great approach, great angle, great point. Placing them in double figures. Abitria hits the antenna and another point goes to Negros. This is a 5-1 run by the Blue Hawks.
And I think ito yung kanina pa na ma-master ng Negros. Ilang beses sila humabol, especially in the first set.
The Masig sets up Servidad. And that back row has back access too.
So very controlled. A nice attack from Servidal, targeting that zone.
First ball was on point. Lopez. Chris again will just toss it around. And that is gonna be a net touch mula dito sa Negros. Those points na hindi pinaghihirapan ng Biñan are going to them quite smoothly.
Especially being a team na naghahabol, this is something that they wanted to minimize.
Servidad changes approach. And nothing but the middle is what she wanted. 16-11. Negros had the run. Biñan had the answer. Chris there with his spike to increase their lead to 5. Games live and free exclusively on pusopi.com. Your game, your community. Join now. Also powered by Smart, the official telco partner of the MPVA. Special thanks to our media partners Smart Sports and Puso Pilipinas. 16-11. Still, they are at the lead. And that's down the line para kay Jella Lopez.
Of course, Jella Lopez really fulfilling her role as the opposite hitter.
Such a risky angle for a lefty as well, but still made it happen. More floor defense enforced, but the defense is broken down by Servidad.
And that speed coming from Servidad.
And this time, it's your game's community cam powered by pusopi.com. Your game, your community. Join now. Going back at Servidad, who already has 9 points, or should I say 8 points Lois, a powerhouse for BIÑAN in this game.
Of course, from their previous matchup, etong si Servidad present in all departments. Then Caparal found a way to somehow stop the bleeding, especially with the powerful serve from Servidad.
That was mission failed successfully kasi medyo not the best din yung set ni Tamon doon. Pero nagawan pa ng paraan. Here's another. Tudlasan denies a libre point. Was that 4 touches? Yes, it is. I'm looking at it right now, Coach Jesse Baroga very much aware of the earth landing dun sa kamay ng Negros players.
Now, Negros keeps on giving out free points para dito sa BIñAN.
And BIñAN will give free points right back. It's been that kind of story para sa ating dalawang teams. There's some momentum built by Negros, but as soon as they get there, they give that momentum away to the Lady Chiefs, and it's a matter of who makes the least amount of mistakes in this game. Goes again. Libre keeps it alive. And another one from Domasig, but PK was there. Back row from Adi. Libre was denied. Graciela again. How about from Laika? Oh, they were trying to go at it. But Libre immediately looking at Coach Jesse, and Coach Baroga knows that's not what we need right now.
I think both teams should catch their breath first. It was really a long rally. Fortunately for BIñAN, Libre committed an error.
Tamon keeps it alive for the team. Tudlasan does the same. Tamon will go to Libre. Ball still in play. How about a third time? And that will work. The lift is over, and Libre is still on fire.
I think it was a lifting violation. Came from Domasi. Everything happened so fast. That's why hindi na nakapag-adjust itong si Domasi into covering that ball.
Karatamon, what a serve. But Tudlasan answers. Too low. Libre na naman. But that was now quite easier for Tira Tira to find.
I think it's a very good read there by Tira Tira. Of course, she's one of the top blockers para dito sa ating league.
Sa kabila naman, it's Servidad. Graciela goes to the middle. Chris. Malyari was there, but she doesn't have the reception in her. That was a power spike presented by Smart Power All 99. You gotta load now.
Very powerful attack from Servidad.
And you know, Lois, I did not expect to not see Casera, Lopez, and Gaparal in this current lineup. It has somehow worked, but BIñAN has taken advantage and has gotten used to it slowly but surely. Tira-Tira gets the point off of that tip. And we're now listening to Coach Jesse Baroga in Negros.
Ano?
Umabay siya sa traffic.
Wala na yun. Nandun na tayo eh. Pag-desisyon ka naman siya. Hoy! Malayo pa yan. Wag...
Coach Jesse Baroga putting all the spotlight on both of her setters, both Tamon and Tutanes. Now it is Tamon's turn na magpakitang gilas. There's been some of that, but eventually BIñAN has gathered. Let's see what she can do. Kabila naman. Why not? But that was a little too risky. A little too tough for Lopez to chase.
And we can really understand where Coach Baroga is coming from because, you know, setters are really the playmakers for the teams. And as you can see, yung adjustment on even very risky.
Net fault mula kay Lopez. Servidad na naman. Goes out. So Negros will get a bit of a breather here in set number 2.
But it is indeed a lucky point for Negros after all those errors.
16 serving 23. Ball taken in. Lopez wanted it to go in, but doesn't happen. BIñAN's at set point.
Well, I think on the side of Negros, a lot of attackers are struggling to convert every attack into a point.
Tamon's gonna give it to Caparal. Like I was there. Servidad goes out that time. So Negros will be saving a set point.
Now we can see Katamora back on court.
Here to enforce a little bit more of the blocking in the process. They need 7 straight set point saves. A tall order, but it's not impossible. And that was a touch. Mula kay Moraga. And that would be more than enough for Abitria to finish it off. What a solid set from BIñAN. Way better closeout for them in set number 2. 25-23. 25-17. The Lady Chiefs need one more. 25-23, 25-17. It is BIñAN holding on to a 2-set advantage heading into the 3rd set, and that is way more than what they've managed here. There's something about BIñAN and in closing games that they just really know how to do, compared to Negros, where meron naman sila mga runs here and there, but they can't really capitalize on the momentum that they have.
Of course, for this set, well, itong BIñAN, they still remain at their peak, same performance, but I think the only difference as to why medyo nalayo itong scores is because of something that's missing on the side of Negros. I think it could be motivation, it could be intimidation because of how they lost from the previous set, but they have to be reminded that they have also performed well prior to the 2nd set, so they just need to recollect and of course be reminded of how they can also perform up against BIñAN.
As we head into set number 3, Lopez might have just found their second wind on this one. Just gonna need a bit of that, only scoring 2 points in the second set. Now for the total of 8. Tudlasan was just wide open in the air.
You can see here a very good leap. Tudlasan is not that tall of a player. We can really see the years of training, the efforts that she's been putting into.
Oh, that was just completely read by the defense. Andun si Ceballos. Joust. Cannot happen. Servidad. Lopez there to retrieve it. Here's Keisha facing one-on-one against Jella, and Abitria gets it.
You know, what I can observe is etong mga atake ni Abitria is when times na hindi mo masyadong ine-expect that she'd be present and maingay.
But Abitria has done well in the absence of Hart Villaflores and Padillon in this game. Lopez just touching it off the blockers for a point.
Shara Lopez, one of those that we can see that are still eager to at least get a set up against BIñAN.
Soars through. Servidad scrambling for the ball is Negros. And that error means it's a point for the Lady Chiefs.
And a lot of adjustments and miscommunication is present para dito sa Negros.
Lopez goes short. 2 in a row are the mistakes of the Blue Hawks. BIñAN also has a 2-point lead.
I think she was attempting for an off-speed attack.
4-2. Tira-tira also with 4. Lopez. Kill not happening. Maybe another try off angle. That block worked so well for Abitria in that moment. And here we go again. BIñAN building up on momentum. Coach Jessie Baroga talking to the ladies early in this set.
Compose. Ha? Time out lang tapos compose yun. Ha?
Coach Jessie not really feeling or not really intimidated by this lead so far. He hasn't gone full anger mode just yet.
I think it can also help itong kanyang mga players, especially with that calm tone.
Lopez. Tira, the middle blocker with a dig. And that led to a point para sa BIñAN, courtesy of Servidad.
Good adjustment there from Servidad.
And just the benefit of having Sam Tira at the back, still playable. And she can even dish out service aces.
can see, can really expect some tira-tira to be present in different departments.
Nobody to reach it, but Caparal there to avoid the point given away. Abitria says, I want it.
We just keep hearing more and more from Abitria. Really fulfilling her role as a replacement in the absence of Hartvilla Flores.
I believe that's double digits now for Keisha. BIñAN also holds a 6-point lead.
The frustration from Coach Jesse Baroga during a huddle in set 2 was loud and clear, a pressure that Team Negros fully understands as they battle to stay alive for a semi-final spot. Aito Tanes told me earlier that the instructions to the team were straightforward. Okay lang magkapalit-palit ng muka, wag lang may bumagsak na bola. If they want to keep this journey going, it would take a lot from them. Because the truth remains, nothing worth having comes easy. Hands and Lois.
Maraming salamat for that report, Quinn Barcarcia. Unfortunately, for Negros, they're trying to put the effort in. It's just that the attacks are just so much better coming in from BIñAN in this third set. As right on cue, there's another one that went out para sa Blue Hawks.
Well, it's really noticeable how, as you can see, yung body language ng Negros, there have been changes, especially in the mood. And we all know that it really does make a difference kapag merong enjoyment inside the court, and they need a spark plug to get their momentum back.
In set number 2, they had Libre. In set number 1, it was the combination of Caparal, Casera, and Lopez.
Exactly.
Who is Coach Jesse Baroga gonna look at now? As she puts Libre again. To be fair, Caparal, this is one of the rare times that she's only had single digits in terms of scoring. Libre there. BIñAN still keeping it alive. Lopez from behind works para sa Negros.
We need more of those attacks from Lopez. Especially na naghahabol sila ng puntos ngayon. I would say every point matters para dito sa Negros, especially that BIñAN already has 2 sets advantage.
Abitria has been the hot hand. Lopez went too low. Totanes just talking to her spiker about it as well. Not the way they wanted it to go.
And again, just want to reiterate that there have been a lot of miscommunication para dito sa kupunan ng Negros.
Drop from Sam won't work. Keisha again. There's just too much going on from that side of the court.
Abitria proving that she's really worthy of that position.
And I don't know about you, Lois, but I feel like it's a battle between Abitria and Servidad for the queen of the court here.
I definitely agree to that.
That kind of ruins her chances. I need to press on the brakes now. Slight breather. Para sa BIñAN, more players starting to come in. JL Bravo showing for the first time para sa Negros. Goes wide and out.
Very costly error para dito kay Libre.
Obvious frustration in the face of Coach Jesse Baroga for those unforced errors. Free ball yet again. What a nasty spike mula kay Laika Tudlasan. No coverage at all. And that was confirmed to be a power spike presented by Smart Power All 99. He got a load now. Nobody home to get Laika. A huge lead ang hawak ngayon ng Binyan. Abitria wants to join in, but it went way lower than where they expected it to be.
Now it's time for Negros to take advantage of those errors. Mahaba-haba pa ang kailangan nabuli ng Negros.
This is a 10-point deficit. Kabila. Mangubat just waiting for the perfect opportunity. It's 16-5. Binyan statement in set number 3, heading into the second tech timeout of potentially the last set of this game. Catch all the games live and free exclusively on pusopi.com. Your game, your community. Join now. Powered by Smart, the official telco partner of the MPVA. Special thanks to our media partners, Smart Sports and Puso Pilipinas. 16-5 as of the moment. Still there is the joust that is no longer needed, as the Masig didn't even get their hands on there.
Something really changed on the side of Negros. If we can see, especially the first set, you can see yung laban nila, of how they were able to defend. Even the floor defense is locking right now para dito sa kapunan ng Negros.
And those were points that was much needed para sa Negros. To be fair, Lois, this is a totally different Negros team compared to what we saw in the previous games that they've had when they faced the Dasmariñas and got a set from them. Casera sa kabila. 2 straight points for FIMA.
And if you can see, kahit nakapuntos na itong Negros, iba pa rin yung mood nila. It's as if they're all serious, and we're just hoping that somehow they would recover, especially in an attempt to extend this match. However, and now scrambling again on floor defense.
And the smiles are all on the side of Binyan. They know that they have Negros backed into a corner. Lopez was denied. Casera was too. So that's a smart way, another option to score for Jella.
Of course, when everybody is expecting an explosive attack from Jella Lopez, it's a quick thinking. Just do an off-speed attack.
They've managed to do a run before. Can they do it here? But again, yung mga ganong klase ng pagkakamali, it also limits you from possibly getting your groove dito sa laban na to.
Exactly. Now we have Tudlasan, one of the best server.
Oh, and again, that's just warm-up. Mula kay Chris Servidad, that was this game's community cam, powered by pusopi.com. Your game, your community. Join now. Servidad and Abitria combining for at least 27 points. But for Jella, She's been the bright spot for this Negros team all throughout this game.
And from that last frame, of course, kudos pa rin dito kay Tutanes. They were able to execute plays right now. A combination attack, I would say.
Servidad was blocked. Or maybe not. It's just in my perspective. She scores again.
Because of that power, blocking from Libre wasn't enough to counter that attack.
So more players starting to come in para kay Coach Obe Tavier. That's Sheena Cafe, service specialist. Just the same as Laika and can also get some aces pretty quickly. But if she doesn't, then it makes Punzalan's job so much easier.
And it's good how we can see itong mga bagong players immediately converting a point. And this just shows kung gaano kalalim yung pool na meron itong Binyan.
Lopez wanted to go, but it goes out. And that's a point for Jella once more.
Good cross-court hit there.
Tanes tosses it to Libre, who goes way long.
And I think Libre is even trying to contest. There's a block touch. Fortunately, none were given.
Now there are more players entering the match. That's Palalon and Sela Segovia. So this is all comfort except for Chris Servidad and Harem Ceballos, the libero. You want to give them multiple touches. Everybody diving for that ball. That was Palalon committing a slight error, but you can't really blame her. She's been sitting at the bench for quite some time now.
And of course, you have to be reminded na galing sa break ball yung attack na yun. And I would say na mahirap talagang adjustan yung set na yun.
Cafe sets it up for Sela. Action continues. Sheena to Palalon. And that drowns into their side of the court. 2 in a row para sa Negros. So there's more substitution. I believe Angel or Jella Lopez will be calling this a day. Joren Siason is going to be going in. Juices Sela. What a kill from the middle.
Of course, Segovia was able to execute that attack because of the good passes as well coming from Binyan.
There was a time that Sela Segovia was the queen of the court para sa Binyan. That is how deep this roster is para sa Binyan. Pero ganun din naman para kay Nakasera. It's just that they're unable to maintain the pace that they had in the previous game to this one. Placed into Dlasan as well. Now was a break. Taken advantage of by Casera, increasing more and saving another match point.
There's no more room for errors para dito sa koponan ng Negros.
Segovia goes back to the bench, very happy with a point that she scored. Tudlasan will be denied. There's a late game surge. Wala dito sa Negros. And here's Coach Obet. I feel like talking to our girls, reminding her about a potential last play after that block from Moraga.
Tumapat ka rito. Ngayon, pag binigyan ka ng bola, kabigin mo papunta rito. Magwa one-on-one kayo, ha?
Coach Obet wants to see a battle in the air. I wonder sino kaya mabibigyan niya dito.
I heard him saying natapatan ang gusto niyang mangyari.
I wonder if that's the plan. But it works either way. Catherine Domasig dumps it to the other side and sweeps Negros Immaculada mega wide to cement themselves even more into that final 4 spot, separating them from the Negros Blue Hawks. What a game for the Lady Chiefs in this match. Isn't the case here, Lois. We saw a totally different BIÑAN, even without 2 of their key players in their squads.
Well, this just really shows how eager these players are to, of course, stay dito sa ating 3rd ranking.
25-23, 25-17, and 25-15. BIÑAN sweeping Negros in the elimination rounds.